Hey everybody, it's Nathan from Savage Lands News, and this time we have a guest that I've really been wanting to get on the channel for forever, right? This is a really unique thing. I haven't seen anybody cover anything like this so far. We're about to dive into the world of art in flesh and blood with one of my favorite artists in the game, Henrique Lindner. Lindner or
Yeah,
Lindner? How do you say
yeah.
it properly?
It's a German name. I don't even know how to say it properly. I say Lindner.
Lindner?
Lindner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is
Good.
it Henrique, right? Do you say the H or no H?
No H, but it's
Enrique?
and it's hard for me to say it when I'm speaking in English, but it's Henrique.
Oh, okay.
Or,
Yeah, I mean, okay, just
yeah, but
Enrique.
whatever feels comfortable.
Oh man, we're gonna call you by your real name. Okay.
Yeah, most people call me Lindner.
Oh, really? You go by your last name?
Yeah,
I know a lot
yeah,
of my Brazilian coworkers, they like abbreviate their name a lot of times. So like it'd be he or like,
yeah.
Faye or something like
Usually,
that.
when I was a kid, my friends and family called me Hiki.
Hiki? Okay.
Yeah, or Hike, or something like that. But
I actually that's kind of dope actually. I
yeah,
like that one. EK.
yeah. I grown on it when I was becoming an adult. I thought it was kind of cringe, but now it's cool.
Yeah, they tried to call me Nay, and I was like, that's not gonna fly. Nay is not good, not for me.
Yeah,
Not my style.
sometimes it just doesn't fit your face or personality. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm too big to be a Nay. I don't like it. Okay, so you're kind of making big waves in the art world right now, as far as I'm concerned, right? You kind of had a lot to do with this last set. You've designed personally some of my favorite looking cards. So let's dive into like where you started before you kind of got on with LSS. So who are you and like where are you from and how did you really kind of get to this point where you are right now?
Well, my name is Henrique. I'm from Brazil, and I don't know. I like to draw since I was a kid with my brother and cousins. We
Okay.
used to. I'm the youngest, so I used to look up to them and
Oh,
copy their work and watch Dragon Ball and Pokemon and copy the characters and later Diablo and Magic.
oh,
So that's something that stuck around. Then I was deciding what I was going to do for college. Then I entered to graphic design because it
okay.
was kind of a safe, plenty of options
Yeah. Yeah.
option. And then I started to work a little bit on animation
Oh, that's cool.
because I was really into like Adventure Time and Gravity Falls, that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
But actually working in animation was really tough and laborious, and I wasn't doing any of that cool stuff. I was working mostly on like some YouTube shorts for a big
Okay.
channel, and later to some educational content. So it was pretty like safe and pretty, and
Yeah.
I then started to become unhappy. And on my free time, I was, hey, maybe I should try to get into TCGs. And I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
Felt scary because the level is so high. And
Okay.
I mean, I was already like a working professional, but
Yeah.
not doing like splash art kind of stuff. So I really was using my free time studying and doing copies of people I liked.
Okay.
And then one day I saw this one particular card that is Sindering Farsight. I had
Okay.
no idea about Flesh and Blood. I'd never heard of it,
Hmm.
but I was scrolling ArtStation and I saw this artwork and I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. And I think I'm pretty close to this level.
Yeah.
So I looked up the game and found a contact us email. Then I messaged Robbie,
Wow, really?
and he said, "Oh, your style doesn't really fit. So I don't know, maybe later." And then I was, "Hey, but I really want it, and I can prove myself and all that." And then he said, "Oh, okay, let's give you a card." So then I did my first card, which was Vexing Malice,
Oh
and
yeah, such a good card too.
I worked my ass off. So I really tried to show my commitment, and well, I guess it worked. I'm here ever since
Yeah,
later 2020. Yeah,
that's crazy. You just knocked on the front door of LSS and was like, "Hey, I want to
and
do
well,
this." You know,
yeah,
I mean, look,
exactly.
you guys at home, follow your dreams, right? Like, just it's that easy. Just go do it, right? That's such a
Yeah,
cool story, actually. Just go
yeah,
work your ass off for a while and do it.
yeah. I think I got kind of lucky sometimes, but yeah, it's hard work and being in the right place at the right time, and anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Wow, I mean that's really cool. I can't believe it. Like you just knocking on the front door. So you're when you they said your art style didn't match. Did you like kind of work on changing the aesthetic a little bit to more fit closer to the game, or did you just kind of give them what you had and you're like, and then they kind of liked it, you know? And how did you get to that through that like
Uh,
payday?
there was like a couple of my artwork, like from before Flesh and Blood,
Okay,
that looked a little bit like classic and old timey, and
okay,
Robbie thought that could fit maybe in some cards, and there's one artwork with a knight holding almost dying person, and Robbie always talk about that one that he liked it,
okay.
but I don't know, I just gave it my all, and I'm a little bit nerdy about stuff, so I went deep researching before doing any cards and really setting up myself for success, I guess.
Wow,
Trying my hardest to make it look good, and yeah, I think
you did.
I've adapted along the way a bunch, but not really a conscious effort, I think.
Yeah, huh? That's crazy. Yeah. So you were like, and you played Diablo, so you had some of that like kind of darker aesthetic. You said when you drew back then, it was like kind of like that darker, more Diablo aesthetic, and it shows I think a lot in the cards, like Smashing Performance. You know,
Yeah.
guy's got like meat hooks in his back, and like yeah, you know, it's kind of sick actually. That's cool.
Yeah, I
I
think those are my comfort zones, like either dark and kind of scary scenes or
mhm.
big buff anatomical kind of guys, so brute cards and warrior cards mostly.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
awesome. And so now, so you worked, you got your foot in the door at LSS. You started designing, you designed them a card. You worked your ass off, and then did they just started steadily giving you some more cards, or how did it go from like your first card to where you are now?
yeah, I've done like this time was just freelance, right?
Yeah,
So there was no contract or anything
yeah,
that. So they would offer me some cards from time to time, and I was slowly doing it. So I don't know. There were some expansions that I've done maybe a little bit more, maybe Uprising and
okay,
Outsiders, and but yeah, I was just available, and I wasn't picking up any other work while
okay,
doing cards, even because usually when now that I'm inside, I understand it better, but there's like some downtime
mm,
for commission art from artists. So once we finish a set, there's maybe a month or two until we start
the
looking
next
and
one.
commissioning art. So on that spare time, I would like stream doing D&D commissions and that kind of
Oh
stuff.
wow,
But
cool.
I was never like picking up work that would take me too much time that I would be unavailable to do Flesh and Blood, because
Makes sense.
I felt like, whoa, this is it. This is something I like. This is
Yeah.
something that I, I even tried to trick myself when I was younger that I didn't want it because it was too hard and
Mm,
unattainable. So I was doing it and was feeling good. So
yeah.
I just kept doing it. And then uh, early, late 2022, early 2023, Robbie contacted me. He said, "Hey, we like your ideas. We want to have you on a team doing concept art." So I said, "Yeah, I never really done concept art too much, Are you guys sure? And he said yes. And then I joined the team, and
Wow.
now I'm starting my second year as a concept artist.
Wow. You just went out there and chased your dreams, and I mean that's crazy. That's so cool. Um and and so as the concept artist, right? So like now you play, you don't just commission, you don't just get the card, right? Now you play a much larger role in kind of like the artistic direction of a set, or how does that really kind of function?
Yeah, there are two separate things. Like I still do cards, just way less, and those are the same as before. It's freelance. It's not part of my day job, and I usually do one card a set
Okay.
right now, compared to later maybe 5
Yeah.
set. And now as a concept artist, I don't know, I do whatever the team needs to. Sometimes it's designing characters like Betsy and updating characters like KO, and I've worked on the other ones too, but was more exploratory. And sometimes I don't know, doing more assets like banners for events and that kind of stuff. It's really, the team is small, so there's a lot everyone do.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing and that's it.
So you're wearing like a lot of hats, right? So like assets,
whenever
to cards, to
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, so now we know kind of where you are, concept artist. Went, just knocked on the front door, got some cards, kicked ass. Now you're a concept artist for LSS. What, now that you're kind of, you've been there for 2 years, I think, right? You said like almost 2 years maybe now.
Yeah, as a concept art, I just finished my first year. I'm starting my second year.
Wow. Okay. So you had your first year behind your belt or under your belt. Like, what is the standard or the typical design process for like a set and a card, right? Like, how do you guys go from like a vision to reality?
Well, let's start with cards because it's easier. Like, let's say for bright lights or dust till down. We already like had a setting, like metrics was already thought of mostly, at least.
Yeah.
And then we did some extra exploration, like there's some districts within metrics, like the more cyberpunk side, to more steampunk, to more junkyard,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And then I think it's mostly Sam and Robbie that get the cards from the game designers, and they think of what the scene could be. So, this card should be like a brute doing X, and then they look for some artist that fits and ship it to them. Like they send a document, hey, this is the card, this is how much we're gonna pay you, this is the deadline, you wanna do it? And if they do, they start the process.
Okay.
After I joined the team, things got a little bit, at least with me, a little bit more, I don't know, fluid and relaxed. So I usually get like the designer's playtest card. So for instance, in Numbskull, I got was the first card, I think, that I got, hey, this is the card, the effect, come up with something, good luck.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it's just because I'm part of the team right now.
Yeah, they can trust you to not spoil it. And stuff
that
like
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's super fun for me because I like for Numbskull, it's a card that doesn't change the power or block no matter what. So he's just hammering through things, and I don't know. I proposed the idea, and the team liked it, and I just went. But usually, like for heroes and more important cards, there's like more control over it. Like as you've seen, the concept art, where the descriptions are more tight, and there's more back and forth, asking for revisions. And then there's some cards that are more, I don't know, they're more relaxed, but that usually depends on who's doing it. If maybe there's a good fit, or maybe there's not, and the artist is struggling, or we're struggling. So it really depends. Like I've done some cards that I finished like maybe in a day or two because it went all smoothly.
Mhm.
And I've done some that I felt like I couldn't finish. I wasn't getting it right. So I don't know. It's just chance, I think. Sometimes you hit the jackpot and the
Yeah.
theme, and it's right on your alley, and you can just nail it.
So like the cards that are more centric to like either the story or like the importance, right? Those ones are like kind of heavy revisions and notes and all that kind of stuff. And then, sometimes you just need like a gargoyle. Yeah, I don't know. Like you
Yeah.
just need a card that has something on it that's scary, and the artist can come up with whatever, and it's kind of okay. You know what I mean? That's interesting. So the card process. I mean, also Numbskull has so much detail on it, so kind of makes sense that card's a little different process wise. Because I thought it was kind of like it was very. I don't know. That card looks different and a little bit more unique for like a standard brood card, right? Like it did feel a little bit more like heavy. I don't know.
You mean like more violent, more heavy?
More like I don't know. It was just like had so much detail and looked like it had a lot of time. So it kind of makes sense that you had like the playtest card and a little bit more like I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, there's cards that I'm really excited for, or maybe I have some extra time, then I go the extra mile.
Yeah,
I think Numbskull is one of them. The Courage token is one of them.
that's a good one
The
too.
Courage
Yeah.
token was one that I think it was the last card I did before joining the team. And I was like pushing myself because I want to do a hero and I'm going to show it that I can do it. And then I really put a lot of effort to it. And I think it came out great.
Yeah, if you blow up the full size art of that card, it's beautiful. Go look at his art station.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So then going back like to approach the set, it is a little bit more, I guess, less straightforward.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's some noise on the street. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
I don't know if speaking up. Yeah. It's less straightforward. But let's say, as I said, for metrics, bright lights, it is a region that already existed, and there's just building on top of what's already there. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit easier because most of the design work has already been done by the team, like before I joined them. And then there's just like directing and adjusting the right vibe or something like that. But like for heavy hitters, that was different because
Yeah.
nothing was there. Robbie just came up to me and said, "Hey, we want to do an expansion that's in kind of a gladiator arena, maybe illegal fighting or something like that. Can you
Yeah.
explore that?" And I was okay. And then I started to, I don't know, because there wasn't even like, oh, it's going to be Betsy, KO, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like really defined at that stage. So I did some really broad explorations. I look at other regions and thought maybe which of them would fit in this kind of scenario. And so I tried to do something like more diverse, like not just Savage Lands, for instance. Like there's people from everywhere. They just go there. It's kind of a neutral place in the world.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I've done some sketches like the original arena, like the design of it, like it's a drawing that I did and the team liked. And then I started to build up on top of that, like, oh, okay, what's on the outside of the arena? So there's that outer ring with the shops and
Yeah.
blacksmith and shady things that I don't know if it's official, but I was calling it like the moat,
Okay.
like money where your mouth is, that kind of, those kind of cards are in
Yeah.
that part of the arena. It's not on the center. And I was just like, at this stage, I was just like coming up with the idea, kind of like a writer would do it. And then
Yeah.
I've gathered like a bunch of references and made a document and to send to the game designers. So they took a look and, hey, this is something that we liked. This sparked some new ideas for us, and then it come back with new demands. And then I really started to flesh out the rest of it. So, but I didn't really do it alone. Like I said, I had a bunch of help from Sam and MJ and Robbie, obviously. But at this time, they were really focusing on, I think it was Dust Till Down, like doing art feedback and that kind of stuff. And MJ was probably doing bright lights, VI, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I was doing it on the backside, like knowing that it would come out way later, and whenever I need help, I would hand them to them to they give their input and ideas to me. So yeah, it's really a team effort, really.
Yeah, I had no idea like that kind of level of creativity was kind of where you played, because like you said, it was originally it was like, okay, we want to do something like this, and you're like, you even kind of created the deathmatch arena, and then you even kind of facilitated like, okay, maybe it's not even in the Savage Lands now, it's in like this kind of neutral. That's cool. Like there's because the lore hasn't totally come out yet. I know we're waiting on that piece. It's supposed to be coming out soon, so we don't know too much about where it is or what it is and how it works yet, but it's crazy. Like you kind of you put like your mark on it, right? That so much that it's like, even from the inception almost, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like my little baby watching it
Yeah.
go out to the world right now.
Heavy hitters. Wow, that's crazy. So like this is like one of your child, right? Like this is like from start to finish, a lot of your ideas are in there.
Yeah, and I don't know, it was like most of the work I've done last year was either visualizing the deathmatch arena and then later the heroes, like, and then looking after the artwork. Some that wasn't really my responsibility, but I was always looking and giving my input, and then working on next products.
Wow.
But yeah.
So, is there one particular part of this set or a hero or card or or maybe even a past card, because this one hasn't totally come out yet, but where you really like you collaborated and like really kind of built this crazy story? Like, is there like one card that you're super proud of, or one concept art or one piece? Like, is there any part of it that you're really, really excited about?
I think I'm really proud of Betsy, mostly.
Yeah. Betsy.
Like, when I was gathering references for her, I found really hard to find characters like her. So I thought, hey, this is special. So because there's not a bunch of it out there. Like I don't remember exactly how Robbie pitched it to me, but he said, oh, we're gonna do a female guardian that's like, she's loudmouth and angry and I don't know, that kind of vibes. And she is from the arena. She's like, she should be from the arena, not like from Solana or anywhere else. And I don't know, good luck. And I had like a pretty good vision from the start for her. So her design process was pretty smooth, I think. And I like the result a lot. Other ones, like, I did a bunch of work like trying to figure out Victor, and my ideas weren't really hitting the right vibes. So eventually Sam took my explorations and built on top of it and got to the final designs. And the same happened with Kasai, and Reiner didn't really need an update.
Yeah.
But it's Reiner. Then there was Kale that I had to update him, and that one was fun too, because like he's an already existing character. I just like received like, oh, he's in the arena, he lost an arm, good luck. And
his design's sick too. I really like Betsy's such a unique character that like, she's kind of like an archetype of herself, right? Like she's so different from like, your typical like strong female lead in a game. You know, like she's like her own character, which is really cool. So I think you nailed Betsy, because you look at her and you're like, okay, that's like a flesh and blood character. That's nobody else. You know, KO's honestly super sick. You did great with KO. You kind of hyena fight him almost. Like he looks dope.
Yeah, I mean, the artist, like the Jasada, did a great work jumping off my concept art. But KO, there was a little bit back and forth between me and Robbie because he didn't want to do the armor on his arm.
Oh, okay.
And I was sure that it was a good idea. And then I talked to Sam, and Sam told me, "Oh, hey, try again. Show him that it's good, that it's going to look nice." And because, I don't know, maybe brutes wouldn't really use armor, that kind of stuff. So I always thought like it's kind of a brutish way to solve the problem, to put a bunch of armor after you lose your arm, so it won't happen again. And
Yeah,
no, I thought
I didn't even
it
think
looked
about
cool.
that piece.
Yeah, I thought it would look cool, and the arena has this overall vibe of scrapping dead heroes, dead fighters, weapons, and adapting it to another, like recycling it, doing another stuff, and that kind of vibe. So I wanted to implement that on KO, and I think it looked good at the end, and the community seems to like him.
Oh, too. Everybody loves him. Yeah, he looks dope. Yeah, I didn't even really like think about brutes not really wearing armor or something. You know, it doesn't really look like it's like an elegant, you know, like detailed, super heavy plate mail kind of thing. It's like
compared to Victor or Olympia, so it's another vibe entirely.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he lost an arm, so he just kind of like smashed some metal on there and was like, okay, let's go, you know?
Let's just make sure it won't happen again.
Yeah, that's cool. So this set, you kind of facilitated your earlier dream though, right? So you kind of, you wanted to design a hero, and you kind of, not only did you like kind of design them, you like built them. It's crazy.
Way more responsibility, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. All right, so we have a little bit of like a background now. You kind of went way into detail on like, you know, how cards are kind of built, how the set started off as like a concept and eventually made its way all the way through to like now we're almost at production, or we're production's over, but we're almost at release date. You know, is there like, maybe we can talk about like your future and where you kind of heading towards now, and like, you know, maybe some stuff about how your skill set, and I guess is where we can kind of go. So, you know, you said your style kind of shifted naturally over time. Is there like any particular kind of aesthetics or artists or people you keep your eye on to kind of like build your future skill sets?
There's a bunch, actually. It's hard to like really pinpoint one person. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like, for instance, Carla Ortiz. She did a bunch of work for Magic, and now she's working on bigger things. Okay. And like, she is really great at more academic stuff. Like, she's really nerdy and really realistic, and that kind of thing I like a bunch, and I try to incorporate to my work whenever possible, and to study it, really, because it's not something that I can just choose to do. So sometimes I think I hit it better than others, but than other times. And I don't know, there's a bunch of artists like alive and working, as well as like from 900s, and I don't know, my references are pretty wild. I think most artists have a bunch of
kind of drawn from everywhere, you know?
Yeah, I think the most places, you gotta be able to filter it a little bit, but I think it's unhealthy to pull all your references from the same place or the same era. I feel like there's some artists that they really have what me and some friends call the art station style, because it feels like it's really feeding from the same place where you're putting out
Yeah.
work. And I don't know, I try to avoid that. I try to look at traditional art to other mediums like fashion and dance and movies, and I don't know,
Cool.
I gotta spread out.
Yeah, you don't want to just copy what's relevant right now, and then yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that's cool. And then for our artists out there who kind of want to go down the same journey that you went down, right? Is there any, techniques or styles or like even equipment that you use that really like kind of helped you nail like this kind of form of art, card kind TCG art forms?
Uh, well, I did a bunch of figure drawing when I was in college.
Okay.
I even like did an anatomy course where we would go to a anatomy laboratory and
Yeah.
dissect corpses.
Oh, interesting.
That's really traditional, creepy thing,
Yeah.
and I think that's helped with me with the part. Like I can build pretty realistic and even then stylize from there like characters, human characters or humanoid characters. I have a pretty good grasp of anatomy,
Okay.
but I also maybe my graphic design graduation helped me because doing art for a card game is really different for like than compared to a book cover, because
Mm.
it's gonna be really small printed. You gotta be real clear with the action or whatever is happening, and that's something that I think I wasn't really very good at the beginning. For instance, I
Oh.
think Baxi Malice works better as a poster than a card.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it is. You have to
Yeah,
display a
it's
lot of
hard to.
information in a tiny little
Yeah,
box.
yeah. So I think those are the most specific things that I would say that helped me do art for Flesh and Blood. But you gotta learn it all. It's as deep as you make it to learn to do art. There's so many fundamentals, and you'll never feel like you know it all. And sometimes you gotta go back and study something that you think you had already, and you learn new things and you implement them. And I don't know, it's a constant growing experience.
Yeah, I mean it's really deep, right? So I mean, and it's art. Art is kind of like I work in the technology field, but it's like it always evolved. It always evolves. So it's like you
Yeah,
maybe you're able to master it right in this second, but like even in a couple months, a year from now, it's going to be different slightly, right? So
yeah. And I don't know, the way information spreads,
mhm.
like since the invention of internet,
Yeah,
it makes things go way quicker than it used to. Like if you
yeah,
compare like an artist from, I don't know, Da Vinci era to an artist like 100 years later, you see a pretty good difference, and there's stylistic differences, but in techniques there maybe wasn't too much of a gap. But
right.
if you look maybe compared to an artist today on the top of their game, maybe the best, compared to maybe 20 years ago, what the same artist was able to accomplish, I don't know, I think it's leaps of
Wow.
improvement because information goes so quickly and it's so, I don't know, accessible. I think
Yeah,
it's
there's
almost
like
hard to filter through.
thousands upon thousands upon thousands of tutorials on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I look someone on Twitter, oh, this guy's pretty crazy good, and I look on his profile and he's 19 years old and was, bam, at 19 I wasn't doing anything close to that level. And
yeah,
I don't know,
and
it's really interesting.
born with iPads, right? So they can draw like or digital art
Yeah.
super early. Like it's interesting, and digital art too. Probably such just the techniques and styles you can do with a digital art form versus like a physical art or physical tools is
Yeah.
crazy, right? So you
Yeah,
know,
and it evolves because like uh, I started last year to learn how to do traditional painting. I'm doing classes. I want
oh
to
wow,
maybe one day do a flesh and blood card in oils.
oh
Maybe I
that
don't
would
know.
be kind of sick.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
one
would.
day,
But
yeah,
I mean, like oil painting is like pretty much the same for 500 years.
yeah.
And digital painting like started maybe 20 years ago with Craig Mullins painting with his mouse, and his results were crazy because I don't know, he thinks he's a genius, but the tool itself gone a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's constant progress and evolution.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Art has changed so much. Like, I mean, media has changed so much. Technology's changed so much. And I never really thought about it. Like the most interesting thing, like that to me that stood out was like, yeah, your art is tiny, and maybe at first you don't realize it, but you have to go into detail,
Yeah,
but you probably can't. Yeah, you can't really like you can't express like 15 people fighting each other in a battlefield on a card this big, like
yeah, it
maybe you
kind of
could.
do, but it's hard. It's harder.
Yeah, that's
You
so
gotta
cool.
account for a lot of things and maybe simplify things. I don't know. I don't have it figured out completely. I'm still learning.
Okay, so that's a lot of helpful for any of you artists out there. A lot of useful information in this interview so far. It's actually this is really interesting to me. Do you have any dream projects or types of cards that you would love to see or work on in the future? Like, is there something that you still, originally it was I want to make a hero, or I want to be an artist for Fab, and now I want to make a hero. Where are you at now? Like, what's your next big dream?
I think doing like the final hero artwork is a feasible dream.
Okay.
Something that I would want to do. But I don't know. I want to keep designing heroes and characters and worlds like I did for heavy hitters. I didn't expect I would do like such a big project on my first year, such a big
Yeah.
responsibility. And I want to keep doing it and perfect it. And I don't know. I had a bunch of hard times doing characters, and I didn't know where to go, or sometimes I wasn't hitting the right vibe for a certain character. Like Olympia is one of them. Like he went through a bunch of different ideas until we were running out of time, and then Sam took it over and created the final we that was released. But I did a bunch of exploration, and none of them were really nailing it. So I don't know. I want to get better at it, and
I mean, you did a lot for the set, so yeah, but
yeah,
yeah,
some
getting
things I
better is
got a
always
lot right,
important.
some I didn't. So I guess
Yeah,
it's expected.
he has a very Lannister vibe about him. You know what I mean? Very yeah, evil Golden Knight, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. Okay, so are you brave enough to answer some Discord questions?
Ooh,
I'll filter them for
I
you. Don't worry.
I'll do what I can.
Okay.
Some of them might be just can't comment, but
Yeah,
bring
I
them.
made sure I made sure we won't get you in trouble this time.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question, and this one is hilarious, is why Betsy?
Well, I knew that she was going to be a big guardian female character that lives on the bars and betting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I wanted to do like a big fat character that wasn't like a joke. Like she's
Oh,
like a
that's cool.
serious character.
Yeah.
She's not like the comic relief.
Yeah, she's gonna beat
And
you up.
yeah, she
Yeah.
is definitely. And I don't know, I there's a fun fact about me. I really love to watch sumo, like
Oh,
sumo wrestling
that's
from
such a
Japan.
cool inspo.
So yeah, that's some started the inspiration for her, and I don't know. That's it. I wanted to do a character like that, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity. She's probably a character that I would do on a personal project if I were
She's
to do.
cool. I love
Yeah,
her art.
there's something that I would choose to do, something like that.
I'll put up on the screen the original your concept version versus the card, but the concept was right there, right? Like
Yeah, it was pretty quickly. There wasn't really back and forth with the team. Like,
Yeah, they were like, "This is good. This is it. You hit it.
yeah,
Nailed
I
it."
think like the only thing that changed is like the keg that she's holding was on another version
Mhm.
that I presented, and they just make her hold the keg too, and let's see how it looks. And then that was already the final design,
That's
so it was
crazy.
pretty smoothly compared to other ones.
Yeah, I mean, like you even like got. I mean, we don't know for sure, but we saw it on the box art at this point from TCG Player that like you even nailed her weapon first try. Like most likely, you don't have to comment. Don't nod your head, but but you know. Your concept art has her like holding the beer keg, holding the giant log, and KO has like his one claw. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Okay.
Yeah, I love them.
I love them. I actually really like them too. Not gonna lie. It'd be fun to animate Betsy.
Yeah, the animation on your channel is really cool. I don't know who did it.
Yeah. Oh no. Let me cut. His name is Nico Gems on Instagram. Nico
Okay.
Gems on Instagram. He's actually super sick. Super nice guy to work with. I have a lot of other animations I can show you. I'm working on for when I record games. So now I have like he did a lot of animations of like card animations on screen of like Reinhardt clubbing the table, like blood ripping out and stuff like that. Because I wanted to find a way to make it even more interesting to watch card games for maybe people who are less super serious about it. So I'm experimenting with like animations and voiceovers for live games. But
Yeah, I think that's great because I love watching esports in general,
yeah,
but I can't really follow card games. I watched like a few games, like that one Uzuri versus Dash IO that
hmm
everyone was talking about. I watched it, but I can't really follow it too much. I can't see the cards. I'm not that knowledgeable about the
yeah.
cards and effects right now, but
Yeah,
no, I
it's like a
think
little
animation.
project I'm working on. Problem is art is very expensive,
Yeah,
and animations are expensive, and I'm doing this all like out of my pocket right now. So I'm experimenting with like just a piece of it to see if it works out or not. But
yeah,
if it does work out, I'm gonna be looking for a bunch of animators out there.
yeah. I know a
Find
bunch. You
oh,
can
I will reach out to you.
hit me up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just my other channel, the tournament one. I'm experimenting right now, seeing if there's any way we can like make it even more interesting. But yeah, Nico Gems, find him. He's cool.
Yeah, I found him on Instagram.
Yeah, he's
Already
cool.
following.
Hell yeah. Okay, next question is what is your creative? No, we already answered that one. Sorry. What does an artist do to get inspired to draw brutes?
Uh, Good question. I don't know. I try not to look too much at like orcs from Warcraft or things like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of can't look at it because, like for instance, I know the movie kind of suck, but I love the way the orcs look in the Warcraft
They look
movie.
incredible in that movie. I love
Yeah,
that movie. It's not great, but I
yeah.
still like it.
I've watched it twice on the movies.
Yeah,
I
it's
paid
good.
for it twice, so it's a
Uh, uh,
great movie visually, and
yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I like to incorporate a bunch of like trinkets and color pieces to, I don't know, really sell the idea from the Savage Lands
Mm.
and to look at. It's kind of you gotta be careful, but I like to look at indigenous cultures and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff to, I don't know, make something that's unique and, I don't know, palpable,
Yeah.
can feel like it would exist in a real world. So
Yeah, the art direction for I just recently talked to one of the developers, longtime brute Carol, right?
yeah,
And so I'm personally like still waiting to figure out what's going on lore wise with brutes and like because I think that's a piece that's missing from the game right now. Like it's pretty easy to like people from Solana or Dorinthia, right? Like these golden warriors with this light stuff, and like they live in this elegant city, so they're kind of like classy. And then brutes right now are kind of like a little bit all over the place. I think personally, like lore wise ish. You know, you've got like Reinar, super savage, monstrous thing from the jungle, like eating stuff and whatever. And then you got like High Roller. It's kind of like a more dumbed down brute in like a bar playing dice. And then you
Yeah.
have like Blessing of Savagery, which is like totally like Aztec-y kind of like jungle culture, pouring blood on people's faces vibe, right? So it's like there's a lot of different directions with brutes right now.
Yeah, and I think like at the same time that it is kind of confusing and feels all over the place, I like the vibe of it too, because what's the name of the card? Rawhide Humbo from Heavy Hitters.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that brute looks really unique to me. Like it's one of my favorite artworks from the set, and I don't know, it looks different from another brute from I don't know Numbskull, and I think that adds depth and adds the sense that the brutes are not just one thing.
Yeah.
They're not like 200 individuals living in savage lands. No, they are a bunch of different different
You
creatures
know
altogether.
that I didn't know that was a brute. So I didn't know that was
Yeah.
a brute. I thought that was
Yeah.
like a creature in the arena.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be. I always saw it as a brute.
It could be a brute.
An
I don't know.
ape-like brute,
I mean,
but yeah.
if that's a brute, then yes, that's freaking sick. Like we're looking at a whole nother species of brute. You know, we'll figure that out with when the lore comes out. We'll learn. We'll learn.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. So you get into the zone by kind of looking at like, you know, your typical kind of like big stocky green dudes, and then you kind of want, you know, go a little bit experimental, right? Like you pull in some
Yeah. I
real
look at
life
like
inspo. What are you gonna say?
museum archives, like
Oh yeah.
that kind of stuff, pottery. I don't know. I try to really spread out where I drink from.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows too, right? Like they do have like they're not human, they're not, you know, whatever, but then they always are tied in with kind of human-esque or like cultural ties, you know, like necklaces or pendants or like, you know, even down to like
That's why I think like it's not too. And I'm talking for myself. I'm not
Yeah.
a lore guy.
Got it.
And
No,
I
no,
don't
totally.
know all the lore, but that's how I interpret them. Like they are really savage and violent and creature-like, but they at the same time they do have their own culture, like
Okay.
the necklaces and I don't know the weapons and tools and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think that's a dope thing about the brutes.
I like it. I'm a big fan. I'm Blessing of Savagery is one of my favorite cards.
Yeah.
Lore wise, like the implications of the lore, and like also it just looks pretty. You know, like it looks good. So I really like that concept, that kind of like Aztec vibe brute. I love that one.
Yeah, that one's great.
That one's good. And then, you know, even smashing performance, right? Like that's a clearly different looking brute. Like he's like big and yellow, you know? Thick.
Yeah, that was one thing that was because when I did that card, I was already obviously working on heavy hitters,
Yeah.
and I got to do a card that was like a teaser for heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And the
Numbskull too,
original,
right? Numbskull?
sorry?
Numbskull too?
Yeah, Numbskull too, but I didn't know it was going to
Oh,
be.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the flavor text came
Got it.
after, but yeah, it is a teaser too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My original idea for heavy hitters and the death match, and we got it in some parts, but damn, English is hard. But at the same time, it kind of shifted as we commissioned artists and they put in their own visions.
Yeah.
Because I wanted all the brutes to look kind of like that, not really fit and like gym kind of body shapes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wanted to have a little bit more of that in the set than we actually got to do, but I don't know. I think the outcome came out great too. So
Yeah, I was really hoping he would be a hero. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see his face and stuff like that, but like he is such like he would be a cool brute hero in the future. He looks like disgusting and cool to play, you know?
Yeah, I wanted him to look disgusting. Yeah, that's
I
a
like
nice
it.
keyword. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
The
like,
card
yeah.
itself is disgusting. Like there's a bunch of bodies in the fence.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
I think we were going to make it a little bit more brutal at the beginning and then we toned down a little bit, but yeah.
He's got you got like the big spiky weapon guy clearly destroyed. He's thrown bodies all over the walls and he's like calling out for glory, and he's got like these very Diablo style like rings in his back and stuff like that. It's so cool.
Yeah. I had a blast doing this.
That one's one of my favorite brutes so far, Sean. He looks dope. And I didn't and if the gargoyle guy is a brute, then I'm in with that too. That's cool. Okay, next question, and then we're wrapping up here. Is there, I mean, we kind of talked about this one a little bit with like Betsy. You're really happy with Betsy, but is there a favorite hero design of a set? Do you have a hero that you really think is well designed? That when you think of like when you're thinking of the hero design process, do you reference somebody in particular?
I really love the final artwork for Kasai, the adult Kasai.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at that like months before anyone else seeing it, and I was so anxious to see the reaction because I think it's just so good. Alexander is a great artist, maybe one of my favorites from Flesh and Blood. And I don't know, I did some exploration on how Kasai would look, the updated Kasai, and we ended up not using it and just handing it to him because he's the artist that did the young old Kasai.
The young old.
And we just gave him the freedom, and he came out with this armor. The golds look amazing, and I don't know. I wanted to play Warriors ever since, and I'm going to.
It was good.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I don't know the effects of the cards. I didn't know the effect of any of the heroes. I didn't know Betsy. I think they show me the playtesting version, but I don't know. I just knew I wanted to play Kasai because the artwork is just too good.
Yeah, sometimes that's really all it is, Like I think a big part of the reason I play Brute is because I just vibe with it, Like even when they're bad, I'm just like, but I'm cooler than you, Like just look, I'm cooler. I play the cooler class,
I think that plays a big part of whatever I do in any game or anything. I like to feel cool doing it. I like to be a little hipster, maybe.
Yeah, me too. I do like the bad classes a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
I mean, my most played hero is Arachne, so...
Cool. Arachne's dope, too. He's on, like, my top 3 hero list.
Yeah, he's super fun. I like to feel smart, too.
Yeah, you like to feel smart.
Yeah.
When you beat people with a bad hero, you feel way better. You're like, look, not only did I beat you, but, like, I'm really, really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's also designed by Winzu 10 too, right? I think his original art, or not designed, but his art.
Yeah,
Winzu's.
I think it is.
Yeah.
The original design, I think, was Sam that did it. Yeah. No, it's not Wisnu. It's Wardi, actually.
Is it?
That did Arachne. Yeah.
Young Arachne or old Arachne?
Both.
Really?
It's Wardi. Yeah. Wisnu did the new Reiner.
Because Winzu did Leviah and Reinar, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was Winzu. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
No.
I'll double check.
No, it's Wardi.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm an idiot. I knew. Yeah, I actually have it signed by him. I have that card signed by him.
Someday I'll get mine signed.
Oh, I need to come get my stuff signed by you. I have my smashing performances. I have my numbskulls.
I got my pens ready.
Let's go. I'll fly to Brazil and I'll come visit you. Okay. So I guess we'll make this the last one. Oh, all right, there's 2. People are really hyped about this one, but I think you already kind of hinted at this one too. They're really brutes love their lore. I don't know why. We love them. We really care. But how much of the lore impacts your designs, and how much do you get told about it beforehand? Now we know it's a little different for you because you're kind of part of the team now. So, but before, did you have any did they give you lore about these heroes you're making or these cards you're making, or is it just kind of like, here's a concept, go draw it?
It's more. It's closer to here's a concept, go draw it. Like
Okay.
there's I think that's okay to say, but there's word guides that we create, and then we provide to the artists, like that show everything from each region, like
Okay.
like habitants, architecture, fauna, that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I don't know, I did read a good bunch of lore because one thing that I did once I joined the team, I updated the Savage Lands word guide. Because it was one of the first ones that has been done for the first set, so it was pretty old and didn't really help artists. So I don't know, I gathered all the new artwork that we created and redesign it. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm lost for words.
No,
but
it's okay. It was
yeah,
pretty long English conversation now. We're on 50
yeah.
minutes. So.
but yeah, we don't really require too much lore to be read to do the artwork, but it's nice to do it. I like to do it whenever I can.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you redid the Savage Lands lore, or the Savage Lands art direction book, like the guidelines?
Yeah, a bunch.
Oh.
A bunch. I think it's the region I know the best. Maybe it's either Savage Land or Solana.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did a bunch of water cards too. Boating seems to haunt me. I don't like water heroes, but I always get boating cards. But yeah, maybe it's my duty to play the good old light water.
Good old boy. He's good now, so
yeah,
he's doing well.
I've heard my legendary helps him.
We have to go there. You just redid the book. Tell him next set in the jungle. Do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Make it happen.
No promises, okay? Just
no
to be
promises,
clear.
of course. But I want some like freakishly monster cards, and I want some like attacking plant cards. I want all that crazy stuff from the jungle.
Yeah, it would be fun to do.
It would be. All right, and final question, which I think is glad because I forgot all about this part. How does the foiled treatment work? And like, who decides when a card gets rainbow foiled or cold foiled, and how does the artistic process for like rainbow and cold foil like actually work?
Yeah, the person that's in charge of that, of actually foiling the cards, is Kat from the team. Okay. And I don't know how. I mean, all equipment cards get rainbow and cold foil, but there's some others that do get cold foil treatments, and I don't know how they choose it, to be honest. But sometimes I help Kat preparing the files for rainbow and cold foils, and I don't know, it's basically a grayscale kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't remember on top of my head, but one of them, like the shinier parts are the black parts, and the other one, the shinier parts, are the white parts. So I think rainbow foil, the whiter it is, the shinier you get. So I don't know, we get the file the artist sent us, hopefully it's all separated in layers, and then we adjust and put it all to grayscale and bump up the contrast whenever we want to have a specific part to shine more or shine less. And the same for cold foil. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Something that we do after the artwork is done. And it helps a lot when the artists send everything in different layers. Some of them send us all flattened out and we have to cut everything again.
Oof.
But yeah.
Wow,
I do it
cool.
sometimes. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I never really thought about how you would foilerize something, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I don't really understand like the actual process.
Yeah.
ink or things like that. But yeah, I know how the files are supposed to be, and it's just a grayscale kind of thing that adjusts how much shine
That's
it will pick up.
pretty rad, actually.
Yeah,
All right.
it's nice. It took me a while to learn, but
Yeah, I bet that's kind of like an abstract concept, you know?
yeah, it's really specific too.
Yeah. I mean, that's so. Oh, so that's. I mean, I think that's it, right? The last question was a little political or whatever. Not quite political. It was more like on the verge of hot topic right now in the world with AI art and AI stuff like that. I don't know if you want to give insights on AI art.
Well, I don't know if you can cut it if you want, but
Okay.
I don't do AI. I think it's basically stealing and unethical, and I don't know. I can't choose that, but I hope LSS never do anything with AI. And if it's something that becomes part of the process, I think I'll have to look for something else to do because it's something outside of my beliefs. So
Yeah.
if it's up to me, it's never going to come into flesh and blood. And I don't have any reasons to think anyone on the team would
Yeah.
approve it too, because everyone's really passionate about art and making it really good and handcrafted and have
Yeah.
control over it. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it loses a lot of the flavor, you know?
Boring, yeah.
Loses a lot of the flavor. It's gonna
It's
be
not
this.
just the ethical things that, yeah, there's probably the biggest part of it, but it's also bad and boring and
Yeah.
soulless.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean, I've used AI art, but I also pay artists for the big stuff. So it's kind of like a weird mix of like,
yeah,
if you're a corporation, you should be paying artists. You know, like you have the, like.
yeah,
Then,
I understand when smaller content creators do it, and as you said, art is expensive. You must have paid a bunch for that animation, and
oh
it
yeah,
looks great. And
yeah, it costs me too much money.
maybe you won't be able
But
to do it
amazing.
like for every thumbnail and thing like
That
that. But
yeah, and
hopefully one day,
that's like the hard part,
yeah,
like where do you draw the line? Because at first I thought it was just an interesting art form, not art, but like I'm really into technology, so I was messing around with artificial intelligence a lot, Chat
yeah,
GTP, and then I was like working on like language models and stuff like that, and all these crazy things you can do. And of course, like AI art came up, and I was like, look at how many giant monkeys I can make, literally. That's what I use it for, is to make a giant monkey,
yeah,
pretty much every time.
yeah.
But
I like there was some meme like that guy fighting a crocodile, and
yeah,
maybe a couple months back, and it's funny. I get it. I I think it can be used like that, but at the same time, it's
yeah,
such a waste of energy, and who knows from where it's scraping data. So I just
yeah,
chose not to do. When it first came out, like Dolly, I thought it was just a fun thing to do. I was typing
yeah,
crazy things and
yeah.
exploring it, but after some time, I started to learn more about it, and I don't
Yeah, and
know.
a
I
lot of the
just
stuff coming out now, like they literally are like, using their artistic references or direct artists and stuff like that. Because
yeah,
at first you thought it was like, okay, I want this to be serious. And so you thought that they had some sort of like programming, whatever, to make it serious. But what they were actually doing was just bucketing artists based on the way they look under the word serious. So,
yeah.
okay, yeah, they're getting sued right now. We'll see what happens and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, that's a interesting, an AI is a really dangerous but interesting, and
Yeah, definitely. I
all
think
of the
AI
AIs
can be
are,
great
it
on
can be
a bunch of
amazing.
different fields, but I don't know. I think like if AI makes someone like that used to work under the sun carrying a bunch of weight have an easier life, great, or help
Yeah,
find cure for diseases or anything like that. But
yeah.
I don't want like I like to do art. I don't want anyone to do it for me. Like I don't feel like art is something that needs to be automatized this way,
Yeah,
right? Because it's not like carrying construction materials around or things like that, or
yeah.
I don't know.
And art is supposed to be like creating new stuff. You know, a lot of the time is like inventing. AI
yeah,
won't invent it. It can only really clone what existed before, you know, kind
yeah,
of, at least for now or whatever, wherever we're at.
yeah. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of
Yeah.
scary to see, because maybe like 1 year ago it was bad, and
Yeah, it's
now
terrible.
it's kind of hard to spot it sometimes.
You have to like zoom
And
in and look at the details. And then
yeah,
if the person cared enough, they would just Photoshop those details a little bit, you know? They would just
yeah. Even
smudge.
even then you can, if you really know what you're looking for, but
Yeah.
it's becoming harder and harder, and
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. Huh. Yeah. World's a scary place, man. AI is gonna be cool. But hopefully, I mean, I have a hard time believing that the creativity side of art is ever going to be able to go away. You know,
Yeah,
I have a
maybe,
hard time believing that the
but
creative side will go away.
I think on the long term, AI is gonna uh, hurt the most the aspiring artists, like the ones that
Oh,
are
that's
starting
true.
out. Because if I were like 5 to 10 years younger, I would be competing with like the small businesses that are doing AI versus hiring some young guy to do whatever shit they
Yeah.
need. And I think that makes the barrier of entering the art as a career even harder. It's already hard, and it's gonna be even
Getting
harder.
commissions and like getting started, building your portfolio. Like,
Yeah, and they're never gonna get past that hump, because you need to do some crappy jobs
yeah.
to get experience and pay the bills. And if you can't pay the bills, you're gonna do something else, and then you
Yeah.
stop being an artist.
And if they
I think
like,
that's the most dangerous part of it.
yeah, I didn't even think about that implication. And if they like, especially if they improve it even further, right? Like, one of the main limiting factors right now, I guess, is like, getting the what you really want to appear. It's like it's just gonna vomit out whatever it wants most of the time, and like unless you're doing something super specific, you're like, okay, whatever. But like if they can get it to the point where you stick in like, here's 3 references of images, and I want these 3 faces here, and I want it to look like, then you're talking about wiping out like an
Yeah,
entire like entry, a mid-level size of that market.
it's already happening. Like a bunch of layoffs everywhere, and Steam just said that they are okay with AI games, and I don't know, it's happening already,
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
Scary, man. This is like
Yeah,
what happened when they invented the internet. AI is gonna, like, the language models too. You think if you're a copywriter, like, your job is basically irrelevant. Like, in a
yeah,
year, you're the robot's gonna write the copy, right? Um,
yeah,
Scary topic. Scary
yeah.
topic.
Kind of a bad vibe to end the
Yeah,
conversation.
I might cut that whole thing out.
Sorry.
It's interesting, and I might chop it up and put it in another video. I'll talk about AI art. I
Yeah,
don't know, or like I don't know. We'll see how the context of that, the ending on the saddest thing, not the
yeah.
best question. But to answer
I don't
your
know.
quade, Variblade or Varibalder, AI art's bad.
Yeah, I think it's bad. At least.
I think, yeah, I art is, yeah, definitely more of like you said, you're not really helping the planet with replacing art.
Yeah, I just like doing art. That's why they do it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But I think there's a massive difference between good artists right now. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully some legislation comes out. Whatever.
yeah.
They're working on that right now. And you should be able to
Maybe.
protect your art, right? Like, you should be able to sign up or not sign up.
Yeah, but you kind of can. Like, there's like no AI filters on ArtStation, but I don't know if it works. And Twitter or X already, I know that they gave up everything to AI companies, and I don't know. I don't want to like delete everything. It won't.
Yeah.
It's not something that I, as a person, can stop. I
Yeah,
can
and
just like
they're
feel
not.
good about it, like putting glaze on my artwork, just to feel good that, oh, you weren't gonna get me.
Yeah.
But
And
I
they're not
won't
going to
stop it
listen
by
either,
myself.
too.
Yeah,
You know, corporations have never really, sorry, all you corporations out there, but like they don't have our best interests in hearts most of the time. So
Yeah.
even if you put the don't send filter, you know, they're going to put it on a level
Yeah.
that you can't see and shit. Yeah. All right. Well, well, thank you so much, man. I mean, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
This was a pleasure getting an inside view on like the game and the design and the art. Like it's so cool because I had a lot of questions and I've never gotten anybody to answer them. You know, like they don't really publish this kind of stuff on Fab TCG or anything like that. You know, so this is really eye opening.
Yeah, I hope it was fun too, and maybe inspire some people to, I don't know, try to do it because I love it. I'm happy, and it's a great thing.
Yeah,
I like doing it.
I'm hoping that some of the aspiring artists out there watch this video and become somebody who works on your team in the future. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe. If you do, say DM me and say that, hey, I watched your interview.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys go out there, chase your dreams. He did it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. Go chase your dreams.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bye.